Good morning, students. I hope so. Everyone is good and everyone is fit and fine. So, this is your lecture 2 from the chapter 8 Devotional Path to the Divine, class 7, subject History. So, in the previous lecture, we have started off with this chapter and we have started how people perform different sort of rituals of worship or sing bhajans, kirtan and repeat the name of their god, and they basically devote their love of God in the legacy of from all these Bhakti and Sufi movements. Then we have talked about the idea of the Supreme God. So basically there they have worshipped their own gods and goddesses, and with the growth of all the towns, trade and empires, they have brought together the new ideas to begin to develop all these feelings of worship. According to that, the idea was not like for all the human beings are equal in birth as well as they have gained around. Many have learned different texts that focus on the belief that social privileges come from the birth in a noble family or a high caste family. Similarly, they started devoting the supreme delights to be worshipping on the rituals like Shiva, Vishnu and Durga, and also the god and goddesses worshipped in various areas came to be identified with Shiva, Vishnu and Durga only. Now there are different sort of methods of worship that they have recommended from the Purana that is going on till here, that how you have to devote your god, and you show there are certain method of worship that you have to do. So this particular idea of bhakti became very popular at that point of time. Now there was a new kind of bhakti also in South India, that was Narayanas and Alvars. So Narayanas were basically the saint devoter of Shiva and Alvars was the saint devoter of Vishnu. So basically they were also famous and basically were composed different texts and sources like writing history for the bhakti traditions. Now in today's lecture, what will be the things that we will be covering are, so topics to be covered in this particular lecture are philosophy and bhakti. So basically in this we will be knowing about different sort of philosophers of India who were like told about the supreme god in their own languages, their own feeling and their own like philosophy about the bhakti and devotional worship system. Then there is Basavanna's Virashaivism. Basically that is the connection between the Tamil Bhakti movement and the temple worship movement. In the next topic we'll be talking about the Saints of Maharashtra. Like from the 13th to the 17th century, Maharashtra saw a great number of saint poets. In there are many Marathi poets who have written about like great like god and goddesses, and in there they have like recited a lot of rituals also. Then we will be talking about Nathpanthis, Siddhas and Yogis. Basically they are the religious group that has emerged during this period, and they have criticized the ritual and other aspects of regional and social order for all these different methods of worship. So all these are the topics that we will be covering in today's lecture, and with that I will be talking about the homework solution from the previous lecture and the homework that I will be assigning in this lecture too. So these are the topics that we will be covering today. So everyone please be ready with your books, with your notebook and one pen in your hand to write down all the notes. These are the things that we'll be covering today. So first of all we are going to talk about philosophy and bhakti. So basically Shankar, one of the most influential philosophers of India, was born in Kerala in the 8th century. So there is the most influential philosopher of all time, that was Shankar. He was an advocate of Advaita, or the doctrine of the oneness of the individual soul and the supreme God, which is the ultimate reality. He taught that Brahman, the only or ultimate reality, was formless and without any attributes. So basically he was an advocate of Advaita. Advaita is a kind of a system that is basically doing all the kind of like आप ritual you follow करते हो या फिर कोई किसी path को follow करते हो, that is the kind of educate of Advaita that we follow, or we can say that doctrine, like you have excel into that particular thing, on the oneness of the individual soul and the supreme God, which is the ultimate reality. Like you have seen all these saints and all these philosophers who have studied a lot about a particular topic. Like if you are like as a doctor, if you have excelled into something, you are known as Advaita or a particular doctrine or philosopher on that particular thing. So that is what Advaita is all known about. He was an advocate of Advaita or the doctrine of the oneness of an individual soul and the supreme God, which is ultimate, the reality. He taught that the Brahman, the only or the ultimate reality, was formless and without any attributes. So basically in his philosophy he have talked about Brahman community, where he have talked that they are the one who are having the ultimate reality and they are formless without any kind of attributes which can be seen in them. Basically they in them they are formless and without any attributes. They consider the world around us to be a illusion or a maya that they have created in around all of them. Now he considered the world around us to be an illusion or maya, means that all the things that is carried out, means all the worship thing that is going on carried out in around us, it is a kind of a illusion or a maya that has created in the mind of people, and they have preached renewation of the world and adopted the path of the knowledge to understand the true nature of Brahman and attain salvation. So basically here they have talked that he basically considered the world around us as an illusion, that everything around him is just a kind of illusion or a maya that has been created in, by the like spirituals and the God, and he is basically entitled towards like a great connection towards the extreme God. He is not at all being don't want to be a part of this illusion and maya. He preached always and recognized the world, basically renunciation the word, and adopted the path of knowledge only, more than like doing worship and like being a part of all these devotional activities. He was just adopting the path of knowledge to understand the true nature of Brahman and attain the salvation, not any other kind of a step that he want to take for them. He just want to attain the knowledge to understand the true nature of Brahman and attain salvation. That's it. Now there was one more person who was there, who was basically the same philosopher, who was Ramanujana. So basically Ramanujana was born in Tamil Nadu in the 11th century, was deeply influenced by the Alvars. So basically Ramanujana was born in Tamil Nadu in the 18th century, and he was deeply influenced by the Alvars. Alvars, who was basically devoting Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu. Now according to him, the best means of attaining salvation was through intense devotion of Vishnu only. So according to him, what was his philosophy was that if you want to worship something or if you want to devote your gods, according to him, the best means of attaining this salvation or the true means of life was through the intense devotional of Vishnu only. And in his mind, Vishnu in his grace helped the devotee to attain the bliss of union with him. So basically in his philosophy he have write that Vishnu was the complete path, that if you are following his particular path, if you are devoting him, then you can attain the bliss of union with him. Like you can carry out all the things that he are going to do. You will follow a path of like eternity. You will gain eternity from him. If you follow the bliss of his union, means being a part of him, that you carry within yourself, you will attain like the entire kind of a supreme God within yourself. So that was his philosophy for that. So basically Ramanuja was born in like Tamil Nadu in the 11th century, deeply influenced by these Alvar only. Now basically his vision, he propounded the doctrine of Vishwa Aditya or qualified oneness in that soul only. Even when they were united with the Supreme God, he remained distinct, and Ramanuja's doctrine was greatly inspired in the new string of bhakti developed in the North India subsequently. So basically उनका जो पावर था, उनकी जो वर्शिप पावर थी, जो कि उनकी जो फिलोसफी थी, it was mostly influenced by the new era of the world which was coming up, and the new string of bhakti developers, he was there in the North India mostly. Like basically you can see it here also that he propounded the doctrine of Vishvidya Advaitita, or qualified the oneness in the soul. Basically in the soul, even when he united with the Supreme God, he remained distinct. There are a lot of philosophers who have like wrote about all these things, but the most famous was these two only, about who have wrote about the bhakti. Basically, if you are devoting your gods, if you are worshipping them, you should do in a oneness. You should know about the meaning, why you are doing it, what is the actual meaning of it. So for that you should know and understand about it, the meaning of this particular worship, the devotion that you are giving them. So basically they have qualified there only, and they have given the meaning towards your worship, towards your devotion, and they have basically given the meaning in this form only. So Ramanuja's doctrine was greatly inspired with this new string of bhakti which was developed in North India subsequently. Now another topic that is there in this particular chapter is Basavanna's Virashaivism. So basically what is there in this particular topic is that if you have noticed earlier, the connection between the Tamil Bhakti movement and the temple worship was very much intimate. So basically the Tamil Bhakti movement were like very much different from all the people who were basically going to temple and worshipping their gods there. So this in turn led to a reaction that is best represented in the Virashaiva movement. Now what was this Virashaiva movement? Basically it was initiated by Basavanna and his companions like Alama Prabhu and Mahadevi. This movement was begun in Karnataka in the mid 12th century, and basically the Virashaivas argued strongly for the quality of all human beings and against Brahmical ideas about caste and the treatment of women. They were also against all forms of rituals and idol worship. So basically the Virashaiva urged strongly for the quality of all the human beings and against Brahmical ideas about caste and the treatment of women. So that was the thing, that they were strongly influencing all the women, and they wanted to urge this particular thing in the heart of people, that you should be you all people are equal. You don't have to follow all these Brahmical ideas about caste and treatment of women. You should treat each and every human being with all equality. So they were also all against of all forms of ritual and idol worship. So they want to follow that all human beings are equal and everyone have the right to devote their gods, everyone have the right to come to temples, and everyone have the right to be treated equally without the following the idea of these Brahmical ideas of caste and the how you treat women. Now there is the next topic that is here, that is the Saints of Maharashtra. Now what is here in this particular topic is that, like from the 13th century, like we have talked about the 12th century, now the new era was coming up, like from the Saint of Maharashtra. From the 13th to the 17th centuries, Maharashtra saw a great number of saint points. So basically what kind of devotional things that was coming in Maharashtra was that they were started seeing a great number of saint points, like they were writing a lot of poetries and worship bhakti gear, the songs and all these things. Like in simple Marathi, or they continue to write these songs and inspire people to worship their gods. So the most important among them were the Jnana Shiva, that is also known as Gyani Shiva, Namdev, Ekant and Tukaram, as well as women like Sukubai and the family of Chokamela, who belonged to the untouchable Mahar caste. This regional tradition of bhakti focused on the Vithala, that was a form of Vishnu only, and it was a kind of a temple that was there, the Vishnu temple that was there in Pandharpur, as well as the notion of a personal God residing in the hearts of all people. So basically, what is the basic concept for this is that they were introducing all these new kind of poems, songs in simple Marathi language, and the most all the saints who were involved in this particular thing was or coming together and initiating these things, and all their main motive was so that their like personal notion for their personal god should be reside in the heart of the people. मतलब उनका जो मेन था कि उनके जो गॉड है उनकी जो भक्ति हो रही है और जो हमारे लोग हैं वो उनसे उनकी उनकी भक्ति इतनी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हो जाए कि मतलब उनका जो है बाकियों के साथ नहीं लेकिन उनके खुद के गॉड के साथ वो कनेक्शन बना रहे. दैट वाज द मेन थिंग. So basically, the most important among them were Gyaneshwar. This was also known as Dhyaneshwar too. Then there was Namdev, Ekant, Tukaram, as well as women like Sukabai and the family of Chaukamela, who belonged to the untouchable Mahar caste. This regional tradition of bhakti focused mainly on the Vithala, that is the form of Vishnu temple in the Padarpur, and as well as on the notion of a personal God residing in the heart of all people. Now these saint poets, they rejected all forms of ritualism. They have outward display of pity and social differences that was based on birth. In fact, they even rejected the idea of unification and preferred to live with their family, like earning their livelihood like any other person, while humbly serving fellow human beings in need. And a new humanist idea emerged as they insisted that particular bhakti only. So what were the main things that they have introduced? All these saint points have introduced here that they also, first of all, they also started rejecting all forms of ritualism that was following by these different kind of bhakti people, like to worship their god, how you have to do it, what are the methods that you have to follow, these are the rituals that you have to follow to worship your god. They all rejected these all forms of ritualism, and they have outward a display of pity and social differences based on their birth, and they have shown a lot of anger, like in with this particular thing they have shown a lot of anger that is there on the like in the basically in this worship thing only, that they have seen so many social differences based on their birth, that these kind of people can come to the temple, these kind of people cannot. So these particular thing was outraged in sorts of their actions. They have shown a lot of anger and pity towards these things. In fact, they even rejected the idea of reunification, and they preferred to live with their families. So basically they rejected all the idea of reunification, and they prefer to live with their families most of the time, and they over earning their livelihood like any other person, and at the same time they were also serving fellow human beings, whoever that was there in need. A new humanist idea was emerging in them to help out people and show their bhakti to them. So that was a new emergence in from them, that was initiated that bhakti, that helping out people is a new kind of bhakti for them. That was lay in sharing others' pain too. So basically to help out people, to share their pains all together, that was the famous Gujarati saint, that was Narsi Mehta, said that there are Vishwanavas who understand the pain of others. So basically their devotion and their new idea of bhakti was basically to help out people and to share their pain all together. And similarly there was a famous Gujarati saint Nari Mehta also, that he have like said this particular thing, that they are like Vaishnavas, and who have understand the pain of others and helping out people with that. Now the last topic that we'll be covering today is Nathpanthis, Siddhas and Yogis. Now who were these? So basically all these three were the kind of religious group that have been emerged during this period of time, and they have like criticized the ritual and other aspects of conventional religion and the social order, using simple logical arguments among them with the Nathpanthis, Siddhacharas and Yogis. So basically, who are these Nathpanthis, Siddhas and Yogis? Basically, a number of religious groups that have been emerged in that particular point of time. During this period, they have criticized all the rituals, whatever rituals each and every different kind of people were following in different kind of areas. They were basically criticizing them that why you are doing all these kind of rituals and other aspects of conventional religion and other social order as well. Yeah, like using simple and logical arguments, but not that they were not that kind of aggressive, but they were arguing with the people that why you are doing all these like religious activities and maintaining the social order to like impress and attain devotional for you from your God. Among them, they were Nathapanthis, Siddhacharas, and Yogis. They basically advocated an renunciation of the world. So basically, to them, the path of salvation lay in meditation on the formless ultimate reality and the realization of oneness with it. So उनका main जो agenda यही था that they want to show a new kind of bhakti that was basically to attain your devotional love for your God. How you can do it? Basically, you can do it through their own method, that the method that they have shown, to meditate and lean yourself in your mind with the name of your God and give yourself entirely to your ultimate God, which is there. So basically, to them, the path of salvation was lay in the meditation only, that you calm yourself down, be in your meditation position on a formless ultimate reality and the realization of oneness within yourself. So to achieve this, they advocated intense training of the mind and body through practices like yoga sanas, breathing exercises and meditation. So to achieve this, they advocated intense training of the mind and body through practices like yoga asanas that you can do breathing exercises and meditation. So basically they were like giving training also to like evoke your mind and body all together by practicing different kind of yoga asanas that we all do, that today also we do, and we do breathing exercises also, meditation too, these kind of things that they have basically advocated with intense training too in amongst the people. Now these groups became particularly popular among low caste, and their criticism of conventional religion created the group for devotional religion to become a popular force in the northern India. So basically these kind of becomes more popular in the low caste region, because in the high caste region they were experiencing their own kind of worship. They were into own their path of worship by like going to temples and showing these people that we are going to temple, we will be getting more of God's grace and everything. And these kind of groups were training these low caste people to attain yourself whatever path of bhakti that you are following with this particular thing, like doing yoga asana, breathing, silent meditation, like give away your body and mind towards God with this particular thing. So their criticism of conventional religion created a group for devotional religion to become a popular force in northern India. So these are the topics that we have covered today. Now this is the homework solution that I have given you in the previous lecture. These are the answers that you can write down also in your notebook, and you can check your answers as well with this. So the first question that I have given you was the idea of the Supreme Court. So basically people came together through the growth of towns, trade and empires, and new ideas were developed. The idea that all living things pass through countless cycles of birth and rebirth as per good and bad deeds were accepted. Now the idea that all human beings are not equal even at birth gained around dining this particular period, the belief that social privileges are due to birth in the noble or high caste was a subject of debate. Now people were attacked to the idea of Supreme God who could deliver them from this baggage if approached with particular devotion. Now answer number 2. Many people were uneasy with the idea of gods and goddesses they turned to the teaching of the Buddha or the Jainis. According to them, it was possible to overcome social differences and break the cycle of rebirth through personal effort only. Now, other people felt attracted to the idea of Supreme God who could relieve them to the evil. Question number 3 was there about the supreme delights, that was Shiva, Vishnu and Durga was as supreme delights become to be worshipped through elaborate rituals. At the same time, gods and goddesses worshipped in different areas came to be identified with Shiva, Vishnu and Durga only. And in this process, local myths and legends become a part of the Puranic stories, and the methods of worship recommended in the Puranas were introduced into the local cults. The next point is, in this particular answer only you can include, like in course of time, the Pinnanis also said that it was possible for devotees to receive the grace of God regardless of their caste status, and the idea of bhakti became so popular that even Buddhists and Jainis adopted this kind of beliefs. And this is the last answer about the new bhakti system in the South India that was being held with Nayanars and the Alvars. Now, during the 7th to 9th century, new religious movements have been emerged. They were led by the Nayanars, who were the saints who devoted to Shiva, and Alvars, the saints that was devoted to Vishnu. They came from all castes, including those who have considered untouchable, like the Pularis and the Pannas. They preached an ardent love of Shiva or Vishnu as the path of salvation, and these Nayanars and Alvars went from place to place. They consumed execute poems in praise of the deities in the villages which they visited and set them to music. Now, this is the homework that I want to assign you in today's lecture. That is these 4 questions only. First of all, you have to give an account on Shankara. Question number 2, briefly write about Ramanujana. Question number 3, describe Virashaivism of Basavanna. And question number 4, what were the practices and beliefs that was followed by the Nathpanthis, Siddhas and Yogis? So these are the 4 questions that you have to do as homework. So that's it for today's lecture. Any queries, any doubt you are having in the lecture today, in the homework solution or from the homework, you can let me know in the online class. I'm there to help you out, and I'm going to go there to explain you each and everything there. So if you are following any doubt, any problem that is there, you can let me know in the online class too. Okay, so that's it for today's lecture. Please take care of yourself, and thank you so much for listening to this lecture.